was I feel like our hiatus could get a little better. We're taking some days off here in the springtime, but we're back on the air. Welcome everyone to Living Room Sports Talk. Kira McCauley, Zach Rothenberger, Chad Catcherman kicking off a little Monday, April 12th. I was like looking down, like trying to be casual about that. A little less energy, I feel like. I'm not. It's almost like we're talking about golf and baseball. Like it's like Monday Night Football's on tonight or something. You know what I mean? Where we got but Sonny won. So we're actually, I'm like almost like teasing the show in like a fragmented way right now. But boys, did you have a nice weekend before we jump into the show?
Yeah, it was good. Enjoyed some Masters golf. So just pretty much did some stuff around the house and watched a lot of golf. So it was nice.
This is your Super Bowl, Zach.
Yeah, in a sense, I guess.
In a sense, yeah, I guess that's actually. I'm sorry. Like you love the Super Bowl just as much as everyone else.
Yeah, the Masters is amazing. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I like that.
Well, let me ask you, because we didn't get a chance to dive as much into it last week as we probably wanted to. What makes it so special to you? I know we wanted to talk about that last Thursday, but what about that tournament sticks out to you? And I'm not saying this in a snarky way, but it's like, give me more than just like, it's pretty there.
I like the tradition and just the golf history around it. It's the only major on the PGA Tour where they stay at the same course every year. I think it was the 85th this year, and I love the tradition around it, and I think the course is extremely challenging, and yeah, I mean it's beautiful too, obviously. So there you go, Kieran.
Yeah, Chad, you're a golfer.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Zach summed it up very well. It's basically just like you think about all these other majors where every one is tough in itself to win, and you get all the accolades for it. But each time it's a different course that, like, the people that, run that.
Was that me this time, or did he get choppy on your end?
He froze on my end.
Okay, sorry, it wasn't just me. I feel like I feel like I was suspended in time. Like, wow, it's a great action shot though for him.
It's a good action shot.
Yeah, it is. Like that would be a really good one if he was like if it was like on the phone, Chad Catcher. I should almost like screenshot this.
You should
use it if we ever need Chad to dial in.
There you go.
I wonder if we're gonna lose him and have to. If we do, well, real quick. Oh, look at this. We got the chat cooking already. We got Uncle Ricky. We got always your number one fan. Look at this. We got the show cooking tonight here, Zach. So let me ask you this. So Matsuyama wins, right? It's funny. I almost want to take this back from what happened to Justin Rose, but almost I'll kick it off. I almost went the Zach. There we go, Chad. We got you back. I almost went
I don't know
what
how.
Happened?
It was a good action shot.
Zoom quite literally shut down, and then
I hate when that happens.
And then re-back opened up to the same meeting I was in.
Isn't technology great? God.
All right, go on.
No, but that part. Right, so we were actually real quick. I'll just tease the show before this is a perfect way to get us back on track. So we got a great show for everyone lined up tonight. So obviously we'll talk about the Masters recap. I might as well look down my notes while I'm at it. Guys, Sonny kicked ass. It was beautiful. I got the highlights and everything, so we'll look at that. The Phillies had a bit of a controversial ending there, Chad. I actually was asleep for it, but we'll talk. We'll break it all down. We'll go through the whole baseball chatter in general. I'm more focused on the Marlins trying to, beat the team that you just beat last night. So, that's where I'm at. But anyway, we're also going to talk a little bit about the NHL. Well, I don't even really want to talk about the NHL trade deadline. Anything happened? That's like, if anything, we just make fun of it happening. Because
the entire East around the Flyers got better, except for the Flyers.
That doesn't matter because they're not going anywhere.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
Nowhere.
Like you said that earlier, and I kind of chuckled because I'm like, I get it. Nothing really happened, but no, a lot happened, just not for the Flyers.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's much like the whole season in general for them.
Jeff Carter's on the Penguins, Kieran.
I know. I saw that. I don't care.
I absolutely hate that.
He'll win. Oh yeah. It's honestly, that scene in Game of Thrones and the one guy. I mean, I feel like this happens to a lot of guys. They just get stabbed. They just get stabbed all over. I was like, well, that's kind of how I feel as a hockey fan after the last few years. And real quick, we'll talk a little bit. What's the strangest thing someone might find of you on the internet? Which I always feel like it's a goofy segment we can talk about. Then we have Mojo Monday. But real quick, do you want to just give us a little clickbait to get things rolling?
Yeah, let's do it.
I had none, so let's see what Zach's got.
Yeah, let's do it.
Mine's actually from like a month ago. I think I meant to bring it up a month ago, and I I was scrolling through some pictures on my phone, trying to delete old memories and whatnot, and I found this one. So it's Johnny Manziel. Apparently, he's going to give himself 12 years to try to play professional golf. So, I mean, sure, you want a seventh chance on something else? Why not? But I don't know.
Doing that again?
Yeah. But I did read that apparently he has a 0-1 handicap. But like, I feel like to make it on the tour, you need to be like consistently extremely good. Like, it's just not, you can't just have
must be a nice life where you can just kind of hop in.
Or that too, yeah, right.
There's also a difference between being a scratch golfer on, like, I mean, he's not playing public courses, but country club courses, and then trying to go to the tour. Like, you gotta be number one below scratch, more than likely, and then be below scratch on these courses. So
off like the tips, yeah. You're not playing the blue tees at wherever you are, 73 and expect to make the tour. So
yeah.
But I mean, you look at someone like Romo, who actually might have a shot, right? Well, he almost did, but I guess my point is like there was like
you
that,
can have a shot. Anyone can have a shot
behind his opportunity, but like Manziel, I haven't seen him playing anything. It's not like it's not like there was like there was a rookie NFL golf tournament or something where he played. I'd be like, I don't hear his name associated with it.
Like, technically, anybody has a shot to play in like tournaments or to try to get into a major if you want to go through all the processes to qualify for each individual major as like an amateur. But like, you're not on the tour just because you played in one.
That's true. So I feel like we spent too much time even just talking about that. I'm like looking, I was like, wow, we just spent like 4 minutes on this. That's a lot of minutes on Johnny Manziel playing golf.
Hey, we were trying to pursue it, but it's not that.
Did you see the chat?
It's hard. So
we got some great comments in the chat. One just Manziel's behavior is his handicap. That's great.
Oh my god,
that's phenomenal.
That's a good.
I love what Ron said too in the chat about how the Flyers, where they're going nowhere and they got to blow it up. I concur with that. I know Chad, you do as well, and Zach, I know you're a Sabres fan, but just why don't you get him support and just you can push down the TNT ejector like Yosemite Sam or whatever, and
yeah. Well, we're blowing it up too. I mean, Taylor Hall was here for a minute anyway, but he's at the Bruins now, so for whatever that's worth, and
going across,
with Brandon Montour too. I think he went there as well, but. Yeah, we're just a joke to the league. So.
Karen, it's a funny thing about the Flyers is, every other team I'm a fan of, like I'm tweeting nonstop throughout their games and basically every day about what they're doing. I think I average like 10 Flyers tweets a year. Like 3 of them are like really hype moments throughout the season, and then the other 7 are just me, like throughout the year, just continuously complaining how they're the same exact team for my entire life.
And those 3 happy tweets are on the endangered species list, basically, of the Twitter world. Like it's like next year it's gonna be 2, maybe 1 next year.
It's always like Claude decides to score 2 goals in like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh my god, he's playing the way he should.
Well, against like the Hurricanes on a Tuesday night in February, like. All right. Anyway, let me jump into my clickbait real quick. So, all right, let me ask you this. I'm being serious. I'm obviously trying to do a little quirky and funny as I ask the question, but what is it with Twitter? I just saw all over the place like today that there's been this like, this guy would be great as Sean Payton in a movie. And I forgot who the first person was today. And I was like, what?
Is that Kevin James?
Yeah, this is the one I picked out. Because it was funny. So then I saw it. And I was like, I saw a second one. I was like, what the hell's going on today? Yeah, but I had to pick the Kevin James one. Because, I don't really understand. I love how Josh said every time. I heard every time Drew scores, every time Karen doesn't wear sleeves. I love it. I'm trying. I got to get the pale skin off. And it's funny. Truth be told, I was showering before the show, so I was afraid I was going to start sweating. So I was like, just throw this on. Here we are. Well, we're showing off the big guns. We're going Sonny. That's I don't need to show off my arms. He does. By the way, he was just rocking and rolling. It was incredible.
Should we talk 40 about seconds?
Oh my god! Should we talk about that first? Do you want to open up with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
We're talking about Kevin James not playing Sean Payton. Anyone
I didn't know what that trend was. I saw it today, but I have no idea what the hell that was.
Looks like a mugshot of Kevin James.
It's probably.
Let's go almost. Let's go a lot of order here. So we'll talk about the Masters in a second. Let's talk about Sonny though. My God, dude. Whew. So the fight. Do you mind kind of painting the picture of like what the fight was in general, Zach? Is first of all, we're gonna have, before we talk about the knockout, we have to talk about our text exchange during the fight.
Oh yeah,
Incredible.
Well, so for those who don't know, we had Sonny on our podcast for a little nice 20-minute interview. What was that? Like, I think it was back in the fall. So
yeah,
be sure to check that out. But anyway, so Sonny had fought. He fights for Top Rank in the heavyweight division, and he was on the undercard on ESPN Plus on Saturday, and he fought Waldo Cortez, and our text exchange. I watched it live on my phone, and I texted Kieran. I was like, oh my god, like all these, and I was like, dude, and Josh and Kieran, you even realized it was on at that time.
No, so Chad, the fight starts at 5:30 on ESPN Plus. I bring down
it was the first fight,
yeah. And I didn't realize that. So I look on everywhere. I'm looking for the card, and everything I see, it's like he's like listed 3 or 4 fights in. So I'm like, all right, he's probably going off like 7:30. And Zach texts me, and I look, and it's very uncharacteristic of you to send like 10, like that's how I text normally, with like a gazillion like zippity like things in a row. And I like was reading it, and you know what I responded back to? I said, oh my god, what happened? Did Russell Wilson get traded or something?
Yeah, Russell Wilson got traded, yeah.
And he's like, no, Sonny. Like, oh man. So let's pull up what Sonny did, because it was nothing short of art. It was beautiful. Zach giving him the hands. Look at this. Oh, of course it's gonna start. Okay, well, we could get the whole clip. Let's get the whole clip. Don't tell me that I cut this thing short. If this, so help me God, if I did, I'll be so upset. Please tell me. Let's loop it over. Come on.
Well, you can see the guy laying on the ground. He's pretty.
Yeah, you can get the gist of it. Come on now. Oh, there we go. Here we go. There it is. Whew. Look at that. So beautiful. You got to watch it twice. They look great. I mean, Zach, let me ask you this real quick. We don't have to go on like some in-depth fighting analysis tonight, but what would you say? I mean, we talked about it after the fight. I thought the boxers were, or the announcers were very encouraging of just like his style of boxing. He knocked the guy out in a minute and a half. So from the naked eye, if someone doesn't know anything about boxing, I thought he did pretty damn well.
Yeah, well, Timothy Bradley was giving him extremely high accolades, and he's a decorated, fighter himself. So the fact that Timothy Bradley was talking highly about Sonny was pretty good to hear, and great to see. But yeah, I mean, he had I think it was a 15-month layoff from his last fight. I know he had an injury, and then Waldo was sick, so they scheduled this fight 2 times. This was the 3rd time they scheduled it, and that actually happened, obviously. And he had it like fundamentally, like from that perspective, not to get too technical, but.
I want to hear. I love it. I'm just like, go on.
No, he was working. The jab is like the most important punch to throw in boxing or MMA, because it's quick, it's stiff, and it like will keep your enemy, the guy you're fighting against, like kind of back and not in your face trying to lunge at you.
On his heels, not on the balls of his feet.
He's on his heels, exactly. There you go. So he was working it the whole minute and a half, and then all of a sudden he caught him with the jab, and then the right after. And he wasn't expecting it, and it just flattened him. Yeah. So it was good to see, and hopefully he's able to fight sooner. The fight was only a minute and a half, so I'm sure he could probably go next week if he wanted to. So
I was saying that it's like he didn't get touched. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, but I'll tell you, to that point, let's speak of the good vibes. Let's roll into some of the other stuff that took place this weekend. So we were talking about Hideki Matsuyama winning the Masters, boys. I mean, so we kind of talked about it a little bit, but you guys are the golf aficionados on the show. I'm just the guy who shanks the ball in the woods. So why don't you guys paint me a picture, almost like the Chad and the Zach Rothenberger journals of what took place in the Masters, and I'll almost put it this here, like the highs, the lows, just kind of your notebook, if you will, and things you noticed and what you took away from it. Okay. It's like a project from like it'll be due on Friday, like.
So pre-Thursday round, I should say, Bryson decided to open his mouth, as he does every single year at the Masters. Touting about how he had a secret weapon in his bag that he's been working on for a couple years now. It's been a couple years in the making. And he said that the course itself is playing like a 67 or 68 par.
Oh, so that's where those tweets came from?
Yeah.
So everyone was like making fun of him for that?
So I can't remember if he said 67 or 68. I think it was actually 67. And he proceeded to shoot above par on 3 of the 4 days. honestly, Friday it was just his saving grace as he went below par and actually made the cut. But yeah, he struggled all weekend. But outside of that, we had a very strong mix of like talent that everybody knows about, and then just players that are going to be good, already are good, and just people don't know about them already. Xander Schauffele is very quickly becoming.
Stop.
What?
Stop. Zach, please.
Well, I mean, I had him in the pool too, so I know
this is more than that. This was the FanDuel $50 special or whatever last year, where it was like, oh, if you throw 50, like they'll reimburse if he like doesn't suck. And yeah, Mr. Schauffele was winning at one point. It was like risk 50 to win like almost $1,000, and he was rolling along, and then he just went right off the cliff. And I haven't forgiven him since then. So sorry. I just had a little personal, FanDuel. Okay, well. In there.
My point to that was he's quickly becoming one of those guys that's both good and people know about him now. He had himself a pretty good weekend outside of Sunday. He was back and forth and ended up finishing third. And Hideki is the first Japanese player. Two things. Number one, first Japanese player to ever hold a lead at the Masters on any of the rounds. So after Saturday night's round, he was in first place going into Sunday. That was the first time a Japanese-born player has ever been the leader. And then obviously, if you've never been the leader, you've never won. So he was the first Japanese-born player to win the Masters, which is really cool because the Masters has a program developed in Japan that's trying to encourage more golfing to be done and to come play in the States. So to see that come to fruition and have a Japanese-born player win was actually really cool.
Yeah, historic.
So there's my synopsis.
And the women's U.S. amateur was the week prior, and the winner of that was from Japan as well. So it was a phenomenal week for the country of Japan and the game of golf globally.
I like that tidbit.
Yeah, but my thing.
I had some questions. I was going to say, no. Go for it, and then I have I'll make my notebook whatever stuff you guys didn't hit on that I'm curious about.
Yeah, no, a lot of people don't know is Hideki used to be number 2 in the world. I think it was 5.
Get the hell out of here, really?
Yeah,
it's one of those guys that hasn't won a major.
Yeah,
insane.
Exactly. Yeah, and he was the low amateur in 2011 at the Masters. So there's usually several amateurs that play, and he was the low amateur in 2011. And he hadn't won a PGA Tour event in 4 years before the Masters, obviously. And Kieran, I also have to say, a little funny story, Chad, too. So my mom, every week, I usually try to pick a golfer, on FanDuel and throw $10, whatever.
Yeah, well, fun.
My mom every week says, "Oh, Matsuyama." For some reason, she liked picking Matsuyama, even though he hadn't won for 4 years. So we had our Masters bets, and I was like, "Oh, who do you guys want?" She said Matsuyama, and I was like, "Mom, come on, he's not going to win."
Come on.
She didn't bet him.
I talked her out of it.
I talked her out of it, and he won. I think he was 60 to 1 odds or something crazy. So yeah. I'm a horrible son.
That hurts.
But no, back to the Masters. I thought it was amazing how the course was playing. Thursday, it was playing almost like a U.S. Open, Chad. The ball would land and it would just bounce right off. There was no controlling the ball whatsoever, which I hadn't seen the Masters really like that before. I hadn't seen a Masters with some brown spots on a green ever.
Yeah, so I was talking about this with a guy from work before they started, and I said I thought it was going to be I was going to be curious to see what adjustments they made from November, because it's just at a course like that's been played so many times, and you don't see those big high numbers that you see in just a normal every week event in the PGA Tour where the winner's 20 under. You never see that at the Masters. So I thought that, those guys were going to be a little ticked off that DJ won it at 20 under in the fall. And then, it's coming out strong on Thursday, just not being able to hold anything. And that threw everybody for a whirl.
Well, I'll almost piggyback off of that, your point, Zach, on the course. So what happened with Justin Rose? played so well at -7, and he was even. And then it's just like he wasn't even in the final picture, right? Like, yikes!
Didn't he get a penalty for something?
I know Abraham Answer had the penalty.
Answer had that for the
sand. In the sand. I don't recall. I think you're right. I know there was something with.
I think Rose did something.
Yeah, I think he hit his ball in the water. I think it like hit off a branch and then, on the 15th, I think it is that par 5. He hit it.
Oh yes, and he hit the slope, and then it went in the. Yes, that's right.
Yeah, because it was drawing, and then it like nipped a little part of it, like the tree limb, and then it went right down and off the slope in the water.
Yeah.
So that kind of took him out. But yeah, Kieran, you're right. I mean, he shot 7 under. I think it was it on Thursday?
On Thursday.
And he was just kind of plateaued from then on out.
And he was even on Friday, yeah. And then Saturday was all the goofiness of the weather. Now, and then there's a few other guys I was thinking about. Like, first of all, it's like a tradition unlike any other. Rory not performing at the Masters on CBS, right? Like, it's like, yikes. I mean, his dad.
Yeah, that was pretty comical. What's the chances of that?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this, Zach, almost a week ago. We were saying how this, like, it just...
He's got two-way miss working right now. Like, They were saying that apparently, like, when Bryson was coming out with all the swing speed, that apparently Rory tried to, like, mimic that philosophy, too. And then ever since then, he's been all over the place.
Jesus.
Apparently.
Well, he's got about half the body as Bryson does.
Yeah,
that's probably why.
And then Spieth was kind of all over the place. He had some really nice shots. And he was like me at Loch Ness, where he was like stuck in the woods half the time. So it was kind of like he was all over the place, I thought. And I was confused because it was like you saw flourishes of... Yeah, I was going to say, you saw flourishes of what he did a week before down in San Antonio. And it was like that version of him was like so close to coming out at times, but he couldn't quite get there.
So,
yeah, I mean, he's still tied for third? Tied for fourth?
Yeah, tied for third.
Yeah.
But he's just one of those golfers, man. Like until you like really understand the sport, it's so hard to grasp this concept where like they're just working on so many things in their game, even in the middle of the season. Like he's just working through stuff. So it looked really good last weekend. It still looked pretty good for the most part at the Masters. He didn't have the ability to go 10 under. Like he
just got the single to start. Sorry, I'm just excited. Corey Dickerson got a single.
You're fine. No, you're good. No, that's just like it's how golf
beat the Braves.
It's how golf works. They can't win them all. Just try to shoot under par.
Yeah.
I think what John Rahm did on Sunday was pretty special too. I mean, he was even
going 7 under.
6 under, 6 or 7.
Yeah,
he was even par going into Sunday, and then he shot 66 on Sunday. So he came out of nowhere and actually had a shot. You know, if Hideki was going to start playing like a king again, but
that's like a $500,000 turnaround in a day.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, he probably went from making maybe $100,000 to you're right, like 600 or 500K. I mean,
yeah, that's.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, you're good. I was waiting for your question.
I was going to say, I just felt like I didn't expect the Happy Gilmore memes to make an appeance.
That was hilarious.
That was great. Wasn't it?
Yeah. Will Zalatoris, he was so composed all week, too, Like, that, I thought he handled everything, like, perfectly. I mean, he shot, I think, a 72 under on Sunday.
Who are we talking about?
Will Zalatoris.
Oh, yeah. Did you caddy? Yeah. Did you see what Siwoo Kim did on Thursday?
Yeah.
Kieran, did you see this?
No.
Oh man, this is a great one. So Thursday, Siwoo Kim, who's like, I don't think he had the lead, but he was up there like second or third on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And he gets to 14 and he misses a putt and he just snaps it. He just snaps his putter, broke his putter.
Love that.
And for the rest, the way that golf works, if you have a certain amount of balls you're allowed to have, and you have your clubs, 14 clubs in the bag, you break a club, you can't just go hit the clubhouse and just get another one of your clubs. Can you use
the rest of the game or the match? Jeez, I'm losing it.
Yeah, so you can the next day when you come back, but that current round, you can't if you run out of all your balls, you're done. You're actually disqualified. And if you break a club, you just can't use that club. So he was using his, I think 3 or 5 wood, I think 3 wood on the green the rest of the day. And crazy enough, I mean, he only had 5 holes left, but crazy enough, he didn't finish below or above par. The rest of those holes, he got a par.
hypothetically, could you bring an extra putter in your bag?
Yeah, but you still can only have 14. So
it's only
like, that's
14.
just wasting a spot
really?
for something else. Yeah, you can't have more than 14 clubs.
So wild. I'm learning. So I didn't know any of this.
Yeah. So unless you feel like breaking a putter every round, then there's no point in bringing 2.
All right, you move the runner over. That works. Sorry, the Marlins.
Do you also have runs first inning?
No. To me, the Marlins are doing. I can't emotionally, walk down those lines, Chad. When you at that point, you want to do a little baseball chatter?
Sure, yeah.
Let's do a little baseball chatter. All right, so, you want to start with you guys actually last night? We'll get to the Marlins, Braves, and me whining in a second. The Marlins got a guy on third with 1 out right now, by the way. Who's up? Mr. Aguilar? All right, come on, Jesus. Garrett Cooper's batting in the 3 spot, taking a pitch right down the middle for a strike. All right, I'm not the Marlins play-by-play guy here. Let's actually talk about what happened in the Phillies game last night. Chad, care to paint us a picture? Because I saw you were saying he was safe, right? You were saying the umpire had the best view?
Last night I said the umpire has the best view. I don't know where I stand.
The way you I was about to say, the way you phrased that kind of sounded like a little flip-flop in there, like a 24 episode.
I mean, you can only see so many replays until you convince yourself that you're crazy for thinking what you think, and I think I have reached that point. So, but seriously, I will not. I'm going to stick by my original point in that I don't think you can overturn that in a replay regardless, because there was no angle that any replay showed me that is better than that man behind home plate. Like, he wasn't in a bad spot. He was in, quite literally, the perfect spot for that play. He was right behind home plate. He was staring directly down at where Bohm's foot was landing. So if anyone were to see if any part of that foot or toe or cleats or whatever the hell he thought hit home plate did or didn't hit home plate, that man would have seen it.
Jesus Christ, Garrett. Oh, God. Sorry, he just struck out. No 2 count. You're right. You're right.
Man.
You're absolutely right. I know.
Yeah.
But
I don't like it when there's a guy on third with 1 out and we're striking out. That's what I don't like. Sorry, I just had to let that out. So,
is the catcher allowed to block
the rest of the show
now? Because before you weren't allowed to, right?
So I don't know. There's so many different variations of that rule.
Yeah.
If the ball is taking you that way, you can block the plate. But it's also in the rule book that you can't block the plate until you have possession of the ball. Okay. So it's very, very weird. That throw, if the catcher would have been called for catcher's interference there, I myself would have been pissed. That throw was coming from the line, which is part of the reason why I think the Phillies sent Bohm to begin with, is you have a below average outfielder. Yes, it's shallow, but he's also at the worst angle to make that play to home plate because it's straight down the line. And Bohm pretty much has free roam to slide where he wants to avoid that tag. And if you look at all the replays and aren't just looking at the play, you'll see Roman Quinn just pointing his arm to the right. Like that's just how good baseball teams operate. Is the next guy up, his job in that situation is to run out behind home plate and point one way or the other for the slide. So I had no problem with the way that he attacked that ball as a catcher. But I don't know. I think beyond that was a really good game of baseball, and it was on Sunday Night Baseball, so that made me even more happy. I hope we can find someone better than Matty V and Alex Rodriguez, because
John
Sturgeon is losing. Like I used to like.
That's what John said. All right, so what happened there? I like Matt Vasgersian from the MLB The Show days. What happened?
Yeah, no, I used to like him, and I don't think my opinion changed on him until last night. He's just turned into one of those guys where it's like a ball gets hit, he's like, "Hey, it's a deep fly ball!" And he's just screaming everything. Everything is getting screamed now. Like Didi's home run, they were talking about something, and then Didi just rips it, and he's like, "And right on cue, Didi Gregorius!" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" I did hear that. you're pinching my ears now, Matt. And then A-Rod A-Rod is like, I can't tell if he's conceited up there or if he just like is trying to act like he knows how to talk about the game of baseball, even though he's like really should know more than everybody else. Like I don't know. I'm still in between. I don't. He's terrible.
Zach, go ahead.
He's buying the Timberwolves, so he's focused on basketball now anyway, right? So
yeah.
Well, it's funny because I thought how, like, there's that picture of him I think on ESPN where he had like all the pictures shuffled around on the desk. Like, I'm just kind of laughing. It reminds me of when you don't really fully prepare for something for work, like if you're doing something for a client or whatever, and you just think, well, I'll just print everything out and I'll just have it all right there. So like, I don't actually have to prepare. I'll just like have it all there. So then I can just refer like to anything they might ask me. And then the minute they like are exact, can you mind following up on this item? And you just look down at that sheet. And you're just like, oh man. And then you just kind of wing it. And I feel like that's what A-Rod does. And he's just kind of like, oh, I really like, it just will say like, oh, I really like this player. I'm thinking like, have you watched this player at all? Like, I don't think you have. I would cringe to watch them do a Marlins game because it would really be, they really think they're looking good. Things are looking bright for the Marlins.
Derek Jeter's doing a lot for this team.
Yeah, Derek Jeter, exactly. It's like By the way, they can't hit with runners in scoring position. By the way, that's the narrative of the Marlins season.
I gotta ask. So, Chad, and not to go back, keep talking about the slide and is he safe or out? Should he have slid head first? You think, or is sliding the way he did the right move? Just from like a perspective of getting the right angle on the plate and everything.
Here's the thing. I think if he's like Didi or Roman Quinn, JT, just one of those guys with a little bit more speed and athleticism, I think you see him sliding head first because they're just more used to doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many times Alec Boehm slides head first.
Yeah.
So to ask a guy to do that when he's trying to wrap around a play, that's a little tough. Yeah. And I also think if he was going right instead of left, I think the swim move slide is easier going to your right than it is to your left. So I don't know. I think it's a split-second decision, and if his body weight was backwards instead of forwards, then I'm fine with what he decided.
At the end of the day, he's safe. So
yeah. Safe out, doesn't matter. We move on.
Yeah.
I have to stop streaming Marlins games during the show because it's turning into like a two-person show, and I'm just sitting here just biting down on my hand watching the Marlins just beat themselves. So help me God. You know what? I'm just going to roll right into this. I'll actually make this a part of the show. Let's do a who's hot and who's not segment right now. Do you mind if I start with who's not? May I, please? Do you mind? Thank you. I really appreciate you guys letting me do this. So, and I mean this, the not team to me is the Marlins. They've blown 2 saves in the first 2 weeks of the season. They were 1 for 22 with runners in scoring position against the Cardinals as they got swept. They split the Mets game, but they should have won that first game. And obviously, I'm going to pull this clip up. Does this look like the ball's in the strike zone, Chad? With Michael Conforto just be like, I'll stick my elbow right in the catcher's mitt. You know the ruling on that, Chad. What exactly is it?
You're back in the box, and it's
not that game.
Yeah,
not that game.
That was a horrible call.
Right?
Yeah.
Can I ask what the count was in that, by the way?
I believe it was. Let's pull it up real quick. I'm pretty sure it was 1-2. It was so. Let me back it up. So there was 2 times he did it during the game. One time it was full count. One time it was 1-2. Let's take a look at the. No, we can't see it there. I thought that one was a 1-2 count. I thought the earlier one he had a full count, but nonetheless.
If I'm a pitcher next time, I'm just going to throw it right at him and say, "All right, you want to lean in? I'll just hit you directly."
Yeah, but the problem is, I was saying this to my dad over the weekend. Like, that doesn't do anything though. You already lost the game, so you're not going to get the game back. And it's not. I mean, obviously, like I will like scream something ridiculous. I hope he drills him. But at the same point, it doesn't do anything. I mean, it's better than nothing, I guess. But the same, you know what I mean? It doesn't really. It's not. That's not exactly an eye for an eye.
True.
Yeah, and it's like
give me a base runner.
But like a guy like Conforto, and I never condone throwing at somebody's head. But like with the amount of like you just hear me out here. It's like I'm not saying they should go to
trust me. After that game, I'm in to hear what you gotta say. Trust me, not that I'm in.
I'm saying at this day and age in baseball, like you're not hitting a guy anywhere it's going to hurt besides, quite honestly, their head because they have so much. Like the reason why he does this is he's got like a 4 foot guard on the end of his elbow. Like that's like why they're
hockey.
Like you literally can't hit people where it's going to hurt. unless you go for their head, which nobody wants to do and nobody wants to see happen. Because you could have as much protection in your head as possible, and that bad boy's still gonna hurt for a little bit.
Yeah, we got a full count, by the way, right here to Albies.
Ozzy.
Yeah, here we go. The wind-up.
You guys have Sandy pitching. He'll be all right.
Well, so Acuna walked on 4 pitches, and then he moved over to second base on a nice juicy pass ball. That's why I was making the point of the Marlins can't stop beating themselves. But all right, well, I'll whine and bitch and complain about the Marlins a little bit later. But let me ask you, so who has looked good? I think the Phillies have looked good. Chad, you got the jersey in the background. You guys want to see them go for it. Is it them? Is there someone else? Who you guys think have looked pretty good so far?
I mean, the Dodgers, they're just loaded on offense. It's hard. It's the Orioles have been decent, or actually, have they been more than decent?
Alexa, what's the Orioles' record?
4-5.
Yeah.
Good concept. My bad. She did get it right. Just to keep her in line.
The Red Sox are 6-3. They're first.
Yeah,
So they won 6 straight since they got swept by the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Houston has looked good again. The Angels, Ohtani has been killing it.
How cool is that? Zach and I talked about that last week a little bit. How cool is that with just? I mean, Chad, as a baseball guru, just how cool is to see a guy be a really good pitcher and a really good hitter?
I mean, yeah, it's sweet. It's just I'm not gonna. I don't want to say anything yet because he did this his rookie year. He came up and he was hitting the crap out of the ball. His first start pitching was pretty good, and then he got hurt, and then he got hurt again last year. I need to see him not get hurt. I want to see him go through an entire major league year because that's part of what makes it so hard to play baseball in the major leagues is you're not playing those shorter seasons you do in other countries. You are playing 162 game schedule. So if you're going to be one of those guys that says they can do it both in the majors, I want to see it for a full season, not just an abbreviated college season. So.
And can we talk about Joe Musgrove's no-hitter, too, for the Padres? The first ever in franchise history?
I missed that. Jeez. That's a good Mojo Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it actually is a Mojo Monday because not only is it the first one in Padres history, Joe Musgrove grew up being a San Diego Padres fan. He grew up in San Diego.
That's incredible. That's so cool.
So that's his hometown team that he finally ended up being on, and he was able to throw their first ever no hitter. So really cool stuff. I don't know. It's just it's hard to gauge, Kieran, and I know you're upset about the Marlins, and I'd be just upset about the Phillies if they were in your shoes. But it's so early in the season. It's the good teams.
You gotta win some baseball games.
Okay, but Gabe Kapler's freaking Giants are 6-3 as well. So
the Chad's giving me credit too for your Dodgers. I mean, obviously, I know the Dodgers are going to be good this year. It's like saying water has a possibility of being wet, but no, maybe it's that point, right? They look they look good as advertised, right?
Yeah, they're starting pitching. No. The Giants are like a game and a half back. The Dodgers are 8-2. They just keep beating everybody.
It's incredible. Well, Freddie Freeman's about to beat us. We did get Albies out though.
There you go.
Yeah. Go ahead. We guys say that.
No, I was just saying. There you go. You got Albies out.
Yeah, I'm trying. What do you guys think of the real quick before this kind of almost jives with fantasy a little bit, I guess. But Jake DeGrom. I mean, look, I'm not gonna this is me being unbiased. The Marlins had no business winning that game on Saturday, I believe it was. Yeah, it was Saturday. And it's just Chisholm going yard in the second inning, and that's pretty much all it was. The Mets didn't score at all. I mean, that poor guy. I saw a record that was like a tweet. It was funny. It was like he's gonna finish with like a 6-10 record with like a half like a .05 ERA or something. It's like, God.
Well, you know what's funny, and I was talking about this with a Mets fan. Every offseason, the Mets go out there and they get more offense. It's not like they sit there at the end of the year and they're like, we're just going to let this boy just keep going out there and doing his thing and not winning games. Like, they legitimately go out and spend money to get offensive players every offseason, and they have a good offense. Like, I mean, they haven't shown it yet this year, besides, I think, one game against the Phillies. But, like, last year, they had a good offense. This year, they're going to have a good offense. But every time the guy gets on the mound, they forget how to play. It's comical. It's so Mets.
I don't know, Zach, if you had anything to add there. I thought
I didn't.
I keep thinking, I thought you were going to say something.
No. Nope.
No?
Yeah,
That's all good. I mean,
yeah.
What you guys had a little interesting fantasy matchup in our fantasy baseball league, by the way.
Yeah, Chad
we
got
playing
the
each
W.
other?
We did last week.
Oh, that was your team. Okay.
I'm the
Sorry,
Mad Dogs.
I'm like, there's so many.
Feeling everyone out too, Chad. I know what you mean. I have no idea who's in this league.
Well, here's the thing: I'm used to having multiple fantasy football teams and whatever, but usually I try to stick to one for baseball because it's an everyday thing and you have to kind of pay attention to a lot of different areas. But I decided to indulge myself in 3 this year. 2 of them which I've never played in before. So I'm learning so many different team names right now that I just have no idea who I'm playing.
It's all good.
Well, it's funny. This is actually a perfect way to kind of segment into a little football chatter. I was going to ask you guys. We always find a way to get a little football chatter in the show, which I love. I don't know really where to go with this Deshaun Watson thing because it's amazing. First of all, the Marlins, sir. Are we going to take a look at that? First of all, the Marlins are the king of getting a guy on second with nobody out, and then working their way to get 2 outs, and then finding a way to give up a base hit with 2 outs, and then giving up the run anyway, which is great. They might take a look at it. All right, let me talk back to Deshaun Watson here for a second. Okay, so what? There's 22 cases against him now at this point. Like, I'm not this is one of those weird things. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and let's talk about it, right? Like, because it's one of those situations where. What's there to say, right? Like, none of us need to sit there and be like, oh, rape's wrong, right? Like, I mean, everyone knows that. Anyone who watches our show knows that. But on the flip side, it's like, so we're going to say, Texas didn't cut. It's like, no, because I mean, we don't know what's going on with that, and they got to let it play out. So that's kind of where we're at. It's one of those awkward things. And the reason I think there's more of a reason to talk about it still is because then you have all those articles almost like pretending like nothing's going on and be like, the Eagles didn't trade for him. Like, I saw that last week. I'm like, are you serious? Like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? There's no trade market. It's dead. It does not. It doesn't. It's like
there's bigger things. There's bigger things to worry about right now than that.
Everyone, teams are doing exactly what we're doing, watching how that plays out. I don't think there's much more to the story than that.
No, there's not.
And we're just saying we're just viewing this from a football analytical side, if you will. Obviously, everything goes. The whole situation's unfortunate, and it's bigger than football. But just to that point, just to break it down on that level, no, I mean, I don't see anyone making a move for him. I mean, almost let me spin it back. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Well, I mean, the only thing I have to add is I'm curious to see after this all plays out. Like, let's say, let's go with he did it, whatever that he's accused of doing and all. Because every case
hypothetical trails now.
Well, because it's like every case is different. Like, I can't just say if it's true because
that's a good point. That's right. I'm saying 22.
Right, I'm saying if, let's say, every single thing in all 22 cases, it comes out that he did it all. I'm curious to see what the NFL does because these are all like civil court cases. Like, he's not going to jail no matter what. Like, that's
let me ask you.
That's not happening out of this. Like, he might go to jail later down the line, but from what's going on right now, he's not going to be going to jail. Well, so I'm really curious to see what the NBA does.
Let me ask you.
Or NBA and NFL.
Well, I was going to ask you. I mean, I feel like if he wasn't Deshaun Watson, he'd already be on the commissioner exempt list already, right, Zach?
Yeah, that's why I'm very interested. I don't know, he should be already. He should be gone.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely think he should be on some type of list where he can't play until it's all either settles or goes further. So I don't really have much to say besides that.
Well, no, and speaking of not playing, Julian Edelman's not playing anymore for the Patriots. That was kind of just like out of left field, just like it was one of those. It's funny. I actually was looking for the clickbait segment for me today, and I got like that alert popped up, and I was like, "Wait, is this clickbait?" And I was like, just the way it's worded, Patriots have terminated?
Terminated the contract.
Can we like talk about the wording a little bit? I mean, like,
wasn't there something that said about something's contingent on his retirement or something? Wasn't there? Like, I didn't even understand it. Did you see that part too?
No, I didn't see any of that. So please fill me in.
Well, he did. Yeah, he retired with a video, but I don't know. I didn't know.
Oh, he
I
did?
didn't see the contingent part.
Where have I been under? I haven't been on any social media in a minute, but I'm losing it.
He had like a 4-minute long video, like of him sitting at Gillette, and it was like very corny. And then he basically talked for like 3 of those minutes about how,
man, I just love winning Super Bowls for the Patriots, man. Something like that.
Yeah, basically. He's like, I need to thank Mr. Kraft, Mr. Belichick.
Tom Brady, Coach Belichick, Tom Brady, Coach Belichick. It's like that scene in Seinfeld, Billy Martin, like where Steinbrenner's like reeling off the names. It's like the same 5.
Yeah, that's pretty much how that one went. But I don't know. That was very weird wording. It seems like something that the Patriots worked. Like I could be wrong in saying this, but it just seems like one of those things the Patriots like worked out so they wouldn't have to pay him money, and he didn't really care about it anyway, and he was going to retire. You know, all is well that ends well, and the Patriots, get to go get somebody else instead of paying Julian Edelman.
Ready for a hot take?
Sure.
He's going to come out of retirement. He's going to go to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, pull a Gronk.
Yeah.
No, he's got to sit out a year.
Is that right?
Like, you can't just say I'm going to retire and then like 2 months later be like, all right, never mind, I'm going to play for this team instead. That's like it's like when you play with the kid in the recess yard where you're playing tag and right before you
contract.
Like, time out, I call time out, and then it's like you walk away, it's all right, time out, and he like starts running away. You're like, come on, I mean, that's
maybe that can play into my little terminated thing where I'm saying that they worked out a little deal there.
Jeez,
that's true.
Is that what you're thinking?
I don't know what I'm thinking. I just know. If anyone knows how to bend the rules,
Mr. and Mrs. Patriot Buccaneer, like
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. If I don't know what I'm saying, but I will tell you if anyone knows.
Oh, there you go, Adam, with the old teammates watching him stroll the bases. Sorry, I just had to get excited there. Yeah,
I don't know who Adam
is. Adam Duvall.
Okay, we call people by their first name, and it's like
I know. Well, Adam Duvall, who's our one of our outfielders, our right fielder, he just deposited one in the right field stands against his former team, the Braves.
Well, how's Rojas doing? I picked him up on the old fantasy waivers the other day. For stolen bases.
I love him. I love Miggy Rose. He's my favorite Marlin right now. But I don't know from a fantasy perspective if I'd be.
Well, he steals bases
right now, but
he's good for stolen bases, right?
Yeah. Well, why? Why did he say that?
Because our league is based on categories, so you need stolen bases.
I wouldn't have him anchor your stolen bases mission like Jazz Chisholm's mine.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
No. I like this. It's become like a fantasy. Speaking of Jazz, he's up right now. It's like the fantasy football trials, like dun dun dun, Law and Order. Or the fantasy baseball.
Well, I did draft Tatis Jr. to hopefully be one of my stolen base folks.
Did he slide? Was he the guy? No, who slid in that first?
I got him fifth.
Was he the one that slid a little bit then?
Probably, yeah.
I think he was.
He probably should have gone too.
Nelson Cruz took a nosedive. There's like a few of those guys.
Well, it's because he can only be a DH. It's ridiculous. Like,
oh yeah, yeah. Boy, he was down there.
Get up! So, I drafted JD Martinez, and he can only be used for the DH spot, the utility. And then later, I took Stanton because it was like the 25th round, and no one took him yet. So I was like, well, I might as well just take him. But the problem is he's also only utility. So I can only start one of them at a time. And the day that I start JD, he'll go 0 for 5. And then that one time Stanton decides to hit a home run, he'll hit the home run when he's on my bench. Whatever.
Oh, I love it. The dogs are barking, baby. They know they agree.
Yeah, they get annoyed at Stanton too, I guess.
It's Harper the dog.
Oh, that's your dogs?
Yeah, it's mine.
I thought that was odd. I was like, by the way, Miguel Rojas is up right now, Zach. Can we give you an update on what happens here?
You just yell when something happens.
You know, it'd be really fun if the three of us called a baseball game. Could you imagine that on the radio too? Like radio broadcasting for the baseball is the absolute best. Just be like, one knows the counts or Rojas, and then just like just have you guys just chatting, making commentary.
On that point, I don't know who it is, but the person that's doing the middle innings for the Phillies this year is probably the worst person I've ever come across in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, I wasn't saying anything about it, but then one of my friends texted me and was like, dude, like, do you know who this person is? And I'm like, oh my God, thank God somebody else heard it. So I thought I'm the only crazy that still will listen to the radio every once in a while. This guy, Kieran, he'd be like, you know how baseball is where they'll say like, and it's the 1-0 count. And then like, there just won't be anything for like 10 seconds. And I'll be like the wind up and the pitch, which is, all normal. But this guy would add in there, be like the wind up, the 2-1 offering.
Right, when it's out of sequence.
And that is, no, I'm not even getting there yet. Then he follows it up with like, and that ball is hit to left field. McCutcheon makes the catch. I'm just like, dude, you can't just say like you have to tell me like McCutcheon on the run, like.
It's like he doesn't know who's playing in the positions. He has to look at it.
Just like, oh my God, dude, that's way too long for me not to know what's going on.
I hate that long pause. It's funny too because you really feel like your life's on the line too in those moments too, where it's like you can hear the crack of the bat. You're like, be good to me, like.
Well, at least with other announcers, you literally are having them saying like somebody's running or two people are like converging, like all that. Like he literally just goes the entire time without saying like what's going on to finally like how the play finishes. It was just tough.
That's like back when I used to watch no run first inning bets on the ESPN app, where like it'd be like the count's 2-1, and 5 minutes later, home run. Damn it!
You see the ball just like going out to left field, and you're like, uh
oh. What's the X? Give me the X.
The worst is you'd see like on the MLB app where you'd like see like because it would be like out would be like red or something like that, and then like blue meant contact, and then if there's that long pause, like contact runs, and you're like,
Yep.
But there's one other point I wanted to make with the NFL too, as we somehow wrapped it over to Bruns first inning, and Chad just struck out. Not you, Chad, but it changed it up. We even it up.
Oh, Rojas struck out. Nice.
He grounded out, and then Chad Block struck out. Yeah. So we're working our way through the inning a little bit. It's a little bit encouraging, and it was a sharp hit ground ball to third. Could have been double if for reason we didn't get there. But all right, real quick, Jess, want to do Mojo Monday? Actually, I think we got through. I think we got through all the NFL chatter. You want to do a little Mojo Monday?
Surely. I'm going to surprise you.
You're gonna surprise me.
I didn't send it, so we don't have any footage.
I was thinking. I was like, this is interesting. I was like, I have my cut, and we obviously got Michael Jackson busted and moving his Princeton Tiger marching band uniform. So what do you? All right, you want to go first then, or you want me to go first? I'll defer to you if you've got this secrecy, Zachary.
I'll go first. Why not?
All right, let's go. There we go. Let's go. I love it.
I've been a critic of this guy up until now because I'm happy for him in a way. Sam Darnold going to Carolina is my Mojo Monday for Sam Darnold's sake.
Really? So delayed Mojo Monday.
Yeah, we'll delay. In the
sense of like a storyline, if you will.
Delay the storyline, yeah, And the only reason why I'm not sold on Darnold yet, but I think with how everything was with the Jets organization, they never really gave him anything to help his case, or like you saw flashes from Darnold here and there, like with some of his elusiveness in the pocket and being able to make plays happen, but he never had anyone around him. So I think he needed to change the scenery. Like the Jets, they didn't really show him much love. So coming to Carolina on a team that I think is kind of on the way to getting on the uptrend with Matt Rule and all the young players they have, and I think just having Christian McCaffrey at his disposal, and he's reunited with Robbie Anderson for whatever that's worth. I know they had a little bit of chemistry in New York briefly, but
I can't tell if that's just two jokers freshman year of high school that had like got good grades as lab partners because they somehow found a way, or like if they're actually somehow they got bad grades in all their other classes, but yeah, maybe if they just become science majors in college, they'll actually take off and do something great.
That's a good one. But really, my mojo just stems from just being, I guess, like happy for him that he's out of that Jets situation. He's on to greener pastures, maybe down in Carolina, and has more weapons around him. So.
I like that. No, I like your twist on that.
Yeah.
And I like that it wasn't one over the weekend. That's it. Yeah, like I like. It's a crisp perspective.
Thank you. What can I say?
Try and chat. What do you got? I'm throwing you on the spot. You got one?
The Phillies are 6-3.
Okay, there you go. All right, so I'll jump into mine.
That's a good one.
Okay, good. That's great. The picture didn't load, so that's really perfect for me. All right, but I was gonna do actually. Well, mine was actually. We must fix this. Ready? We're doing a live. So it's a little end of the show. If there's a little snafu with the production, at least it's gonna be at the end of the show. But should be it. There we go. That's not it, actually. Whoops. All right, here we go.
There's Sonny Conto.
Do a little
the
dance,
Bronco.
make a little love. Get
Man,
down the
I'm really
night.
dropping the ball.
I'll throw another little
Down the
Mojo
night.
Monday in. Just
it's funny because I was about to say I think I actually screwed up and didn't put the clip in. So I was just gonna say mine was the whole. It was funny I pulled up that Phillies Braves clip though, because actually mine was in that series was just the kid giving the foul ball to the Braves fan, the Phillies fan that got. Yeah, I thought that was awesome.
Oh, yeah, that would have been my Mojo Monday, but ESPN talked about it for like way too long.
Did they?
So.
See, I don't like.
Sounds about right.
It's tough because I can't hate the good deed because ESPN ruined the moment.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
they suck.
Yeah,
exactly. Like we all know that.
Yeah.
I know, but it's the worst too because they're just like, how great is this? Father and son at a baseball game together, and they're just helping out other people, and it's just great. It's all great. We're great too, and it's like, no, ESPN, you're not. You suck. Like you exploit the situation.
This is what sports is all about.
Well,
I know.
They're
like, all right, everyone from the top, we're doing the Little League World Series vibe. Ready? 1, 2, 3, now. Like,
what's really cool. Beyond it just being Harper and Freeman, I don't really exactly know if Freddie Freeman signs a lot, but I can personally tell you that Bryce Harper does not sign all that often. So really cool signature for that kid to have just in general because not only is he a top 15 MLB player his entire career.
2 Hall of Famers has signed a baseball for that kid.
Exactly. Like it's like on top of that, one of them doesn't actually sign that much. Like that's going to be worth some money someday.
All right, that's not what it's about. That's why they don't sign that much. I think that's what's beautiful about the whole thing. Do you want to see? I got where is it?
Okay, I would be willing to bet money that Paul gets sold at some point in time.
Babe Ruth baseball here, Chad.
Is it a real autograph?
Yeah. Now we didn't talk about this.
Well, if it's real, you should sell it.
Don't even. No, so you're let's be adults here. This is not you and me talking in 3rd grade at like St. Joe's where I'm telling you this story and it says, nah, like there's actually validity behind this. So there's a background on this. It's funny because it's been sitting on here for the show. This is like a fun little story time to end the show. So my grandfather got this sign. So if I remember correctly, which I might not, but I believe his uncle was at a Yankees game back in like the 20s or whatever, right? And got a home run at the game, and Babe Ruth signed it afterwards. Mm-hmm. So I can't. So here's the thing, though. I thought my grandfather. I believe my aunt told me that story. I thought my grandfather told me that his uncle got it playing golf with him. I could be wrong. Maybe he got the ball at the game, and then he signed it playing golf with him or something. But all that being said, yeah. So I remember my grandfather. One day we were talking. I was like probably like kindergarten, 1st grade. I'll never forget. And he was like, "Do you not have an autographed Babe Ruth baseball?" And I was like, no, you don't. Like, it's like basically saying like George Washington's actually like my boy. Like he texts me, like I'm like like in kindergarten, like what, the cherry tree, like so. And you show me now. The problem is the ball's so old. Chad, I gotta show you. This is incredible, but the signing wore off, and it signed off. It will show you like where it was, and you can see like the entire part of that baseball has been pretty much like worn off anyway because they didn't have anything to preserve it back then. So it's kind of, but I think it's really cool that like, because obviously everyone's like, oh, you gotta do something, you gotta put a can. I'm like, it's what it is. I know it's been signed. Like that's like one of the coolest things in the world.
If you truly, if it's pretty much fully gone, you can't really see it. Then you're not going to get much value. Okay, so you're not going to get much value out of it anyway. You could actually pay. I don't know how much it would be for a ball like in that shape, but you can pay people to preserve it or re-preserve.
Like,
I don't know.
Put a new signature and it like almost recreated on there or something like that.
Yeah, they're gonna. I don't know how they do it. but you say that signature's gone, like it's not gone.
So
apparently it's not gone. So like
that was actually my question, because I was thinking with all the technology now, I mean, you could pull up dinosaurs out of the ground like could they possibly like find a way to like preserve it somehow, even though the ink's gone or something? Like it's like they're like somehow natural, like an imprint. Like I was curious. I looked it up though online. I didn't see anything.
I can get you somebody. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I can get you somebody's contact information.
Oh my God! Look at this on the show. We're talking about this. This is great.
Yeah, no, that can be done. Somebody actually just called us. I wasn't involved in the conversation, but I overheard it. And I think it was Lou Gehrig, kind of same situation. And he spent a lot of money to get it worked on, and he's asking about reselling it, and the resale value just isn't there because it's at that point it's not a forgery, but it's the
especially if you have ownership permission. Oh yeah, oh my God, yeah, I think that'd be cool. And look,
right,
see, the chat's authenticating it. I never told you guys that story.
No, I never heard about it.
Oh yeah, well, yeah, it's pretty cool.
You're actually my second friend in the last month now telling me that they have a Babe Ruth signed baseball, which is kind of crazy. But
the Great Bambi,
yeah,
the what?
Blanche apparently has one as well. So I don't know. Everybody's apparently got Babe Ruth baseballs besides myself.
So what happens if I'm not even trying to be funny. Let's just play a hypothetical for wrap up the show. Zach, you'll love this. So what happens if I have kids someday and my son comes in from the yard and he's like 8 years old and he's like, I hit the ball over the yard and the dog ate it or whatever. I'm like,
the Babe ball?
Yeah. I'll have to have my mom be like,
by that point you could probably just recreate the movie and nobody know what it was and you would make a lot of money.
I was, at that point I was like, I'll have to show my wife and be like, show that scene and be like, if our kids ever just destroy this baseball somehow, just recreate this scene. Like, can you play this role like a lady from Indiana Jones? Like, yeah, but
funny.
Yeah, good times. But I'll say, all right, this is a lot of fun. All right, I'll wrap up the awkward pause by saying, hey, follow us. Check us out real quick on all the social media aspects. Twitter, Instagram, Reddit. I'm still trying to get it all out at once. Follow us on social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit @_GetSidetracked. Check us out on our website as well, www.get-sidetrack.com. All the audio episodes are on Spotify and iTunes, and then video episodes are on Twitch and YouTube. So Twitch first, if you want to take a look, follow us and subscribe. Follow to the left, subscribe to the right. And then if you want to look at YouTube, that's a free subscription, so there's no excuse. And we have highlights, interviews, all sorts of cool stuff to interact as well with the podcast. And then if you want to check out our store, we got some cool gear on there. Summertime's around the corner. I'm acting like I'm a kid on spring break with this cutoff. Jeez. But there's shirts with sleeves on there, and maybe some without. I'm not sure. But check out all the cool stuff on the store for all your sidetrack gear. I know, Chad, I'm boring all of us. I know it's tough. I know. And then look at this. I'm almost about to say the stream's ending. That was not the slide I wanted to pick. But that being said, we had a great show for everyone. It's a lot of fun. It's funny. I was like, it's like I was about to say it's habitual. That's not the word I want to use, but it's like subconsciously, I would just start clicking because I was expecting enjoy our bracket and the Bob Knight photo and stuff. We got to get out those prizes, by the way. But all that being said, it was a lot of fun tonight, guys. Getting back in the lab.
Yeah.
So, Chad, it's funny. I almost want to do a live questionnaire on this. So Zach can't do the show on Thursday. Can you do it?
Yeah. I mean, I'll be coming back from New York, but it's not a big pickup this time. So
all right, we can play it by ear. Maybe get the Joes or something on. We'll have a good old time.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Yeah.
All right. Well, we want to thank the chat for joining us tonight too. This was a lot of fun. Get back in the lab here. It's been a week. It's always weird when we haven't been in here for a week. I feel like.
Yeah. Always feels good.
It's got to get the juices flowing again.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Awesome. We want to thank everyone for watching this show tonight.